Welcome back, it's me, Lou. I'm here for another action figure unboxing and review, and today we are featuring Gorr from the upcoming Thor Love and Thunder movie. Alright, so where to begin? I saw this figure I don't know, maybe like a month ago when the line first hit shelves. I saw it at one of my local Walmarts, and I passed on it. I didn't want to pay the increased price on the Marvel Legends series figures. I think they're like at $24 now versus, like $19 from like previous years. And I mean, I just passed on it because, for one, I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't necessarily have an attachment to the character Gorr. I'm not a big Thor comic book reader also, so I'm very unfamiliar with the character. When it comes to the comic books, stuff like the X-Men, that's really my bread and butter. I've never been really a Thor or an Avengers guy when it comes to the comic books. So for me, this is I know nothing about the character. There wasn't anything about this figure that looked really appealing outside the Build-A-Figure piece. And at the time, I told myself I wasn't going to get the entire wave. And then the joke's on me, like a few weeks later, here I am reviewing all the figures. Because the thing is, I really want the Korg figure because I'm kicking myself for not buying the previous one in the 2-pack. So let's get started. The Gorr figure, it looks great. The likeness to actor Christian Bale looks pretty spot on. It's a very pale, ghostly looking kind of action figure. The sword looks really badass. And, sometimes when you look at some of the figures you get, regardless if it's Marvel Legends or G.I. Joe Classified series or whatever, sometimes a big selling point for me is like, how many accessories are you getting? Are you really getting your, bang for the buck? In this case, this guy just comes with a sword, which is probably really true to, the movie. It's not like he comes with like a bunch of other things. But I don't know. For 25 bucks, you really hope that you get your money's worth out of this. So in terms of the bio on the back, it says, wielding a strange and terrifying weapon, Gorr will let nothing stand in his way. And really cool artwork. And be on the lookout because I will do the Build-A-Figure for Korg. I have all the pieces. It's just a matter of unboxing everything and getting everything together. So I'll shoot a video on that in the near future. Alright, so we get the Build-A-Figure piece for Korg, and this will just give you an idea of how tall that figure is going to be, because the leg alone is gigantic next to Gorr. It's like 2/3 his height. So this is going to be a big Build-A-Figure. It's not going to be as big or as large and as bulky as like a Hulk Build-A-Figure, but it looks like it's stepping up to be something that's going to be pretty sizable and tall, and I'm looking forward to that. The sword looks really cool. Let's take a look at this up close. It's almost like I want to say like a jet black. The hilt's painted brown. The sculpting on it's pretty decent. It has like almost like a rocky surface texture on the blade. First impressions of Gorr. As I've stated before, he's a very ghostly looking kind of figure. It's kind of like a dirty white and like a light gray. I'll give the figure a big plus that this is a very photogenic figure. It seems to be like cooperating with my camera really well. Like for some action figures, when I do these videos, sometimes their color scheme comes off very bright, and it kind of like messes with my camera's autofocus. This guy here, for whatever reason, he's like just the right shade of like white and gray, and my camera just seems to love it. And it's a really, really spooky looking character, especially when you cast him under the right lighting conditions. Just the shadows casted on his face looks so, I don't know, so realistic. And immediately as I begin to handle this figure, I'm thinking to myself, as much as I feel like this is a very plain looking figure, the base body alone I think would be fantastic for like customizers. This tattered cape alone I think is really nice. If you look at it up close, there's a beautiful texture all throughout, and even like kind of slightly changes color. It's kind of like this. The folded pieces up here, it's like a lighter, dirty white, and underneath it's almost kind of like a white gray. But then as you transcend down, it gets a little bit dirty. So it's really cool. And then the tears at the bottom, they're really fine. Sometimes with action figures, especially with plastic, when they try to emulate like tattered clothing, all the torn pieces are always kind of chunky looking. But here, the fabric, it looks recreated very, very well. It's a very, very fine, detailed cut at the bottom. And it looks fantastic. Very nice cape. It's not overly done. I like the fact that it's a little bit in a neutral pose where it's kind of flowing downwards. If you view it from a profile, it's a very thin material. It doesn't feel like it's going to like outweigh the figure and force it to fall over. And the figure by itself, I think it's a great base body. If you want to create like a custom figure of like maybe a historical character like Caesar or something like that, or like Jesus or an apostle, this is a great look right here. It's a nice long robe, a nice wrapped torso piece. It's very, I don't know, there's something about this is very elegant, very graceful. And the likeness to Christian Bale just looks so awesome. And like I said, it looks very, very spooky up close. Nice texture throughout the material. His arm kind of has like scarring on it as well. I'm really curious to see what this character is like on screen. From some of the images I've seen online of like the comic book character, for me, I see it, it's like it's kind of hard to take it seriously as a villain because Thor's so imposing. His villains have always been very imposing, and this guy is just a guy in robes. He has a cape and a robe, and it looks. I'm sure when the movie comes out, he's gonna be, it's the performance of Christian Bale is going to be fantastic, like it always is. So yeah, really well done. In terms of articulation, or let's examine articulation without the cape. I think we'll get a better range of movement without the cape. So without the cape, his head rotates left and right. He looks down about this much, looks up about that much. And like I said, I love the fact that this guy is very photogenic with my camera. Like with some videos, like the minute I start moving stuff, it forces my camera to like go out of focus. But my camera seems to love this guy. His arms go out. They rotate. He has a bicep swivel like that. Pinless elbow, which is nice. And it's double jointed. Very clean look. Wrist articulation. He doesn't have a cut. How do I explain this? He doesn't have normally for a lot of Marvel Legends figures, there's two cuts on the torso. Normally there's a cut underneath the chest line, and then there's the waist cut. This guy seems like he has a cut like probably mid-abdomen, so it allows him to crunch there, arch back, and then rotate. This belt and skirt appears to be one piece, and it's overlapping the plastic. So as you lift the plastic up, and as you get this, it looks like he's just wearing sweatpants. And it's, I don't know, it seems like a lot of effort went into the the exterior of the figure, but then once you lift this up, it looks kind of very generic, although there is a nice fine texture on the fabric right here. So he has a swivel. His legs could kick up, but they're going to be hindered by this. And then they do kick outward. Pinless knees, but it's kind of pointless because, you don't really see them underneath the skirt. And you can see it's double jointed. And he has articulated bare feet, which is nice. Yeah, overall, very solid figure. I like this guy a lot. It really surprised me because, in all honesty, I think the figures I was least excited for was Groot's and this guy. But as I'm handling this guy, I kind of like this guy a lot. It's very less is more. Everything about this figure is understated and subtle, but it just looks really, really cool. I'm liking him a lot. Very creepy figure. There's something very ghostly about this. So yeah, I like this a lot. On a scale of 1 to 10, my first impressions. This is gonna sound very generous, but for me, it's almost a perfect figure. You know, I think that the limit of range of movement for the legs due to this is kind of a issue. But overall, I'm very, very satisfied with this guy. So I'm going to say at least a 9. No more, no less. I haven't seen the movie yet, so I don't have a sentimental attachment to this character yet. But in terms of, for me, just the experience of handling him, I'm really, really surprised how much I'm enjoying this. Now, is it worth $25? You know, that's a big jump from like paying $19, you know, like a few years ago. But, you know, that's how it is nowadays. You know, all the prices are increasing. But I think it's a great figure. Really, really surprised me. And if you're a customizer, great figure to work off of. Especially with his clothing, which is kind of already like a white or gray. So, you know, if you're a customizer, it's always easier painting over white and gray as opposed to, like, you know, trying to repaint Spider-Man if he's all blue and red. So, excellent figure. Like this guy a lot. Alright, so let's wrap this video up. Once again, my name is Lou. If you are new to my channel, welcome. If you're a returning subscriber or viewer, thank you so much for your continued support. So until the next video, be safe, take care of yourself, buy lots of toys, and most importantly, be happy. And I'll see you at the next one. Alright, later.